interrupt usual programming to bring you this important news flash. Aliens have posted a video on YouTube claiming they will destroy Earth in 20 minutes. Here's what they said. As you heard there, they will destroy all inhabitants of Earth, Earth itself, the Sun, and all surrounding galaxies. This has been an update from SSTV News.
What are we going to do? What are we going to do? What can we possibly get done in 20 minutes? What are we going to do? Die Hard Arcade. Originally, this game was called Dynamite Decker in Japan, but then they obtained the license for Die Hard and just added it into the Western releases. Usually this is done before developing the game, but hey, this is Sega. So naturally, you're John McClane. You have to save the corporate president's daughter who's been taken hostage. Yeah, I know that's not quite right. Actually, the story isn't much like Die Hard at all, except you have to run up the Nakatomi building dressed like a cop kicking butt. Whatever the story is, it's a great, yet kind of short, beat 'em up that keeps you coming back for more, and more, and more.
Die Hard Arcade was STI's very last game and was a joint effort with Sega's AM1 department, who are now known as WoW Entertainment. So who is STI, you ask? Well, Sega Technical Institute were an American branch of Sega that Yuji Naka joined after the success of Sonic 1. It's where he made the rest of the Sonic series on the Mega Drive, plus another group of the STI branch did Sonic Spinball, The Ooze, and the classic Comic Zone and Vector Man. STI was well known for having the freedom to experiment more than other development companies, and it shows in games like we just mentioned before. Sadly, the team was also responsible for the production of Sonic X-treme, and that game was one of its main factors of closing down, as well as the constant issues with communication between the Americans and the Japanese.
Best played with 2 players and friendly fire off, this game takes the beat-em-up genre and puts its own spin on it. Unlike Streets of Rage, Final Fight or Double Dragon, you don't scroll along the screen to the right. Instead, it takes you to a set screen, Virtual Cop style, where you fight off all the enemies and then it moves on to the next, with a little quick time effect and mini challenges in it. This opens up the environment more. You'll notice tons of room and the ability to use items around you like flagpoles, chairs, pipes, a grandfather clock, a grenade launcher. You'll even have a lighter and hairspray which you can combine together to make a little blowtorch. But it's the simple handgun that can give you the biggest advantage. With it you can arrest the bad guys without having to drain all of their energy. You simply arrest them and they fade away. It's also the only weapon you can take with you from section to section.
Short is the first thought that comes to mind when I think of this game. I mean, wow. It's a really short game and truly was made for the arcade. Although we usually like to take it slow and do all the parts, we can still easily finish it flat out in under 20 minutes.
You'll notice in the menu the ability to play this little mini game called Deep Scan. It seems pointless at first, but it actually unlocks credits in the main game. You don't really need it unless you've got 2 players or you're just starting out. So the more subs you sink, the more credits you earn. The game really is great fun and it gives you a lot of freedom to use a lot of different combos and combos of combos. So as short as the game is, it gives you a huge mixture of moves, so it's really worth the money in the long run. As far as graphics goes, it looks a bit messy, but it really was just a short peek into what was in store for the future of the beat-em-up genre. And as we've mentioned, the Saturn really did have issues handling 3D. So with that in mind, I think the developers really have managed to produce something pretty awesome.
So to play this game for America and an Australian Saturn, we use the Action Replay card. It's an essential for any Saturn collector, and it works both ways and will let Americans play Japanese and European games, as well as vice versa. It also features a code system, which you can find codes on the internet to open up parts of the game which were unavailable at first, or use it to get past parts of the game which were too hard at one point. It's also good for the VCD card. For some reason, even though we have a Power Version VCD card, it won't start in our Power Version Saturn without the Action Replay card. So we pretty much leave it in all the time, as the Saturn has a very weak tin-based cartridge slot, so the less removing and reinserting cartridges, the better. Speaking of the cartridge slot, was I alone when I got the Saturn and was disappointed to find out the Saturn couldn't play Mega Drive games? Sorry, bad timing. I'm getting a bit thrown off here. How long have we got left, Nick?
Oh no, only 5 minutes left.
5 minutes? Oh, we better get on with it then.
What I like about this game is the mixture of Virtua Fighter style moves and combos, but with guns and items you can get some real aggression relief from. It winds you up and gets you involved the instant the action starts, and doesn't stop until the end, or until you run out of credits. But after Bruce Willis fighting robots in the game and other crazy stuff like that, the reference to Die Hard was dropped for the sequel on the Dreamcast, and the game is called Dynamite Decker 2, or Dynamite Decker in USA and Europe. If you want to know more about the sequel, then check out this recent video by Dreamcast Junkyard. We'll post a link at the end of the video. Well, that was episode 1 of what would have been season 2.
Season 2. Had the world not been ending.
Yeah. It's a bit depressing, really, isn't it?
So disappointing.
It's a good way to spend the last 20 minutes, you know.
We had a great season written up, but now the world's going to end, and well, that happens, I guess. But thank you for all the support out there between our break. We were over the moon when we hit 50 subscribers. It was like all our Christmases coming at once. We really had a lot of fun that night.
Got to 50!
Yeah, we'd like to thank MMN12Bird for the plug, and of course,
It's awesome, thanks for that.
thank you, and Gamer Geezer, which is
Jam.
legendary show, and would be a great show to check out had the world not been ending in about 2 minutes. I did another watch, no watch thing,
Yeah. Evan 1-2-Birds does those sort of videos of the old 3D landmarks, new 3D landmarks, cars, PC stuff,
and
all that sort of stuff. And
great audience, yeah.
It's really the sort of stuff we would have loved to have got. Also,
We get
Gaming
into
Geezer's
a lot too.
Monty Python sort of
Meets
stuff.
game reviewers, and who knew it would actually work, hey?
Yeah. But anyway, it's been fun. It's been great. It was a good game to spend our last 20 minutes playing.
Yeah, farewell all. And last thing we got to say, I guess, if we're going to be blown up, is Sega rocks.